To apply for my MBA about 5 years into my career at Deloitte, and this is one of the life goals I had laid out for myself. Jeff has been extremely supportive. We've actually maintained in close contact ever since I graduated from Baruch back in 2006. So I reached out to him and we connected, and I told him about my aspirations. So continuing on with his level of support, he said, "Stacy, well, let me know if there's anything I can do." At which point I asked him very kindly if he could help with a letter of recommendation, and he did so in such a way that I was ultimately accepted into MIT Sloan. So I have a lot to thank, not just for Jeff, but also for Ascend in making sure that we were able to connect and we were able to maintain our relationship. I think it was the ability to connect with people who I felt shared similar backgrounds, similar aspirations, and also faced similar stumbling blocks that I did. And having that open forum to talk and engage with these different individuals. It just made me feel like I was part of a community. And I think that was quite invaluable. I think Ascend helped me develop the leader in myself. The reason why I say this is because of the passion I have for making sure the Asian American contingency in Baruch College had the right platform to engage with the professional realm. I was able to put together this student organization, and this was already my senior year. It put me pretty much in the front and center. I had to connect with and network with a lot of the professionals, connect with a lot of students, understand what some of the challenges the students were facing, and bridge that with what the professionals' opinions were and how we could kind of just connect the two pieces. So that was extremely rewarding because it gave me a new soft skill set that I didn't know I had before, and it forced me to do it because of the passion-driven aspect of it. Later on, when I was at Deloitte Ascend, again, it was kind of the overarching element that made sure that I had visibility across some of the more senior membership of the company. With Ascend in the future. I think the future is such uncharted territories. I think there are some key elements that we all need to understand and to embody as future leaders. So I believe agility is one of the cornerstones for this year's convention, and that is something I would definitely like to understand more of and hear the different perspectives from my fellow colleagues across the different industries here at Ascend. To me, is a constant aspiration for more, not just personally and professionally, but as a group. Right, to be able to have the same values, to have the same hopes, and how to really make that tangible, to use the verb form, right? How do you actually ascend to that higher place that you want to be in with the support of the thousands of professionals who are quite akin to yourself? That's what I see.
So Ascend has a great forum called as Mentor-Mentee Forums where they connect growing professional to experienced professional. I met with TT as well as Kamesh in the Mentee Mentor Forum. I stayed in touch with these people. Eventually, I told my professional goals, which was to become an entrepreneur, start company in a specific domain. They heard my story. Their experience helped me to get guidance in terms of how do I start even my business. Not only that, in last 4 years since I have quit my job, they have helped me to get my company to a current organization, to a current status. It was a give and take from both the sides, and eventually I'm happy to say that Nagesh is still my mentor, and TT Bhatt has become chairman of the company, and the story is just continuing in the right direction. So there are two experiences. One I would share is I was part of the speaker committee. Every year Ascend has this yearly event. Through a speakers committee, I got opportunity to talk to chief executives of various organizations, whether it's KPMG, Deloitte, and Bank of America, so on and so forth. Where would a diverse person who comes from a different country get an opportunity to talk to chief level executives, interact with them, meet with them, talk to them? What it has enabled is to take my confidence to a certain level that if I decide to do something, if I take right steps, I could probably do anything in the world. And Ascend enabled that particular experience. Second one on one experience that I would like to share is a couple of years back when I was part of the committee, the chief executive CEO of ENY, Jim Turley, was one of the speakers, and he happened to come early at the event, and I was the only one there. So I got a chance to talk to him for 10 minutes. Those 10 minutes have been so insightful. And when he started talking, he just said that he had met President Obama the day before. So here I'm meeting somebody who has met with President of United States. He's spending few minutes with me, invaluable minutes with me. I share my story about the business. He gives his insights about where things are. And not only that, we exchanged the cards, and I sent him a thank you note of spending time with me. Then he returns my email with a thank you note, and I talk to myself in terms of where in the world I would get an opportunity to talk to a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar organization, get his insights, and receive his thank you note. It's impossible to do that, and Ascend enabled me to do that, and that is terrific. So I've been part of Ascend since its inception. I remember the day 10 years back at 22nd floor at ENY when there were only few members of Ascend, just starting the idea, the vision, the concept. Jeff Chain and other individuals were there. And from that day, it has gone into 60,000 plus members, multiple communities, etc. And it's a terrific achievement. People come to the Ascend event or become members is because they want to do something more or something better. So the type of talent that you get here is definitely better than the talent outside. To be concise, or if I conclude the story, I told of a person who single-handedly came here with no network, no contacts, and it has enabled me to be where I am. It enabled me to meet with right people, get direction, get contacts, get clients, revenue. What else can you ask for? So if you really ask me, the forums like this mean a lot to me. It's like a guiding principle in your life, and everyone should utilize it that way.
How I got involved with Ascend was through Heath Lee. I've known Heath Lee for probably since 2002 when I was at Morgan Stanley. He was on that account as one of the audit partners. And we ran into each other again in 2008 when I was a controller and head of accounting policy at MBA Insurance. And I met him through one of the events at Ascend, and he suggested that I should join Ascend. So that's how I got involved. So I thank he for that. Actually, my involvement with Ascend has been through the mentor program that we ran for the New York chapter as well as the national chapter, where we had like a mentoring roundtable where we facilitated helping our young junior professionals to think about some of the things they need to be thinking about as they progress in their career development. And that has been very rewarding for me, just to be able to give back from a community perspective and kind of share some of the lessons learned that I have to help accelerate the career growth of our young professionals. Look back at my involvement, it has been around giving back. The mentoring piece has been very important, and I've maintained some of those relationships with the people that I've mentored, even though we only met like once out of the whole year. But I think the important thing is to continue that dialogue. I think as you progress in your career, the most important thing that you can do is to give back, and that has been my personal satisfaction, just the opportunity to give back and to help our young professionals to think about the pie theory. You know, I wish early on in my career someone sat down with me when I started my career to think about the pie theory. I didn't learn about that until like 20 years later. I think it would have accelerated my career development if I start to focus more around that. Some others are more natural around that stuff, but these are things that we need to be thinking about, especially around the Asian community. You know, we're known as more technical, and a lot of time we tend to, you know, focus more on our strength and not get outside of your comfort zone. And our non-comfort zones are naturally around image and exposure, just given some of the culture barriers. So I think we need to break down those barriers and make people realize that performance is expected and somewhat given, and the weighted in terms of, you know, what people measure you becomes less important as you get older and in terms of your career development. So it's important to focus more around your image, and that comes around verbal communication, written communication, how you carry yourself, how you present yourself. Your executive presence is very important, and then exposures, the opportunity to kind of show what you're capable of above and beyond, you know, the details that you normally get yourself into. So I think that's very important. The mission, which I've always believed in, has been to help our Asian professionals develop their career. A lot of the focus has been at the early stage of the chapter's mission has been more on the middle manager, young professionals. I think as we start to grow, especially now that we're our 10-year in terms of his mission, a lot of the professionals have grown, right? They're up to the executive suite now. So I think it is important to continue to emphasize around the executive present, and I guess kind of get back to my pie theory part a little bit. You know, we need to develop programs that focus on the I and the E. I think that's very important, and we all can use more of that. It's not a natural thing for people to focus on their image. You know, maybe Asian culture, we don't like to show off, so that seems to be an unnatural thing for us, but it's expected. That's what you need. You expect it in terms of performance and getting to the next level. And it's not viewed as being pompous from that perspective. I think it's confidence and really an area of focus. And from a programming perspective, I think it's important for us to focus on that.
Ascend has been an incredible contributing factor to the success of my professional career, I would say. Not only has it helped build my skills in terms of leading and connecting with individuals, but I would say the most important thing that I've taken away from that is really to have an opportunity to find myself and to be myself. Over the years in various platforms, Ascend has really built a forum for me to really learn how to voice my opinion, really build what I would call my executive presence, and really to take ownership and responsibility of my career. So I've been actively involved at Ascend for over 7 years now, and through those years I've took on several leadership roles, a few more recent being the part of the IAG Inspiring Cross Generation Steering Committee in New York, as well as a officer role within the Metro New York chapter. And with respect to that, I really felt that through those opportunities, they've helped me build a strong foundation and platform to network and connect with individuals. Now, that's also to say that it's a mutual relationship, right? The efforts of what you get back is really based on what you put in and how much effort you put in into the organization as well. And for me, it was very fruitful. So to the point where even today with the relationships and the people that I've met, I can say that some of those folks are my friends, my mentors, and my sponsors.
At least in talking to a lot of our partners before we even came to the IAG, there was this idea of kind of moving away from the bamboo ceiling and woe is me, because as a group we're very blessed and it's hard to have a woe is me, and look at who we are. Let's celebrate it, let's come together, and let's come out with a roar. So this greater than the Indian community, but the Asian community, and a lot of commonality there. So I think that really spurred me to say, look, this is an organization worth looking at, because, you know, in the Asian community, because we're so many subsets, we don't have a shared vision. And Ascend is helping to create that shared vision. I think that's important as we go to corporations and go, who do we are? I think one of the biggest things is I had a very big picture vision. I wanted to bring Ascend out of a lot of the bamboo ceiling conversation and to see who we are. So on a Saturday, on a non-game baseball day, we had not only Hideki Matsui, but we had Greg Fleming, Hugh Johnson, CFO of PepsiCo, Jim Turley, CEO of Ernst & Young. We had a mini Davos, if I was to call it that, that came out, and not all of them were Asian. Wei Sun Christensen flew in from, China, as CEO of Morgan Stanley China, but not all of them were Asian. And they came out, and one of the young Ascend folks turned to Hugh Johnson and asked him, "Why did you give up your Saturday and come out here?" And his answer was, because Kamish painted a vision that it would be impactful for this community, and I thought it was a great thing to do. And so I think my vision for that, and really what all of the Ascend New York Committee created, was this idea that people will come out. The demographics are strong. Let's be proud, embrace who we are, and look at who we have that comes out on a Saturday. There's been a lot of friendships, a lot of mentoring, which I think is fantastic, giving back, making a difference. I think as we get older, we love to talk, as many know that I do, but we don't listen as well. We have 2 ears and one mouth. We should listen more than we talk, and Ascend helps you listen and listen to other people's message. And I think that's been incredibly powerful for me. And professionally, I think it's always great to go ask, right? I think Wayne Gretzky said you miss 100% of shots you don't take. Well, the IAG and being around Ascend has helped me go ask. Would I have asked Greg Fleming and Hugh Johnston and Wei Sun Christensen? And I think that sent a message for me to go ask and go outside my comfort. And it was fantastic for me, and it was fantastic for the organization. And I think it kind of got infectious.